2 minutes ago, the WNBA was hit with a brutal reality check. Without Caitlin Clark, the league isn't just struggling, it's collapsing. Ticket sales are dropping, ratings are falling off a cliff, and empty arenas are exposing a truth that fans already know, but the league refuses to admit. Caitlin Clark is the WNBA, and right now, with her sidelined, the hype is gone, the spotlight is dim, and the cracks are impossible to ignore. So let's talk about it. Because what's happening right now isn't just a dip in momentum, it's a crisis, a Caitlin Clark crisis. And if the WNBA doesn't figure this out fast, all the progress that's been made over the last few months could vanish overnight. When Caitlin Clark entered the league, it felt like a revolution. Suddenly, women's basketball wasn't just a niche sport, it was front-page news. Her games were selling out arenas, TV ratings were breaking records, and merchandise sales were through the roof. People who had never watched a WNBA game before were tuning in. But here's the thing, that growth wasn't league-wide. It wasn't because of a new wave of talent or a breakthrough marketing campaign. It was because of one player, Caitlin Clark. And now, with her sidelined by injury, the numbers are exposing the uncomfortable truth. The WNBA doesn't have a boom. It has a Caitlin Clark dependency. Let's start with ticket sales, because this is where the Caitlin Clark effect is the most obvious. When she plays, tickets are gold. Scalpers resell seats for hundreds of dollars. Teams move games to larger venues just to handle demand. And fans travel from out of state just to see her in action. But the moment news broke that Clark would miss time with a quad strain, the market collapsed. StubHub prices were slashed in half. Entire rows of seats sat empty, and arenas that were supposed to be packed ended up echoing with silence. Take the Washington Mystics, for example. They moved their game to a bigger venue just because Clark was expected to play. But once she was ruled out, attendance plummeted. That decision backfired hard, leaving thousands of empty seats and fans who had paid premium prices furious. And unlike other sports, there was no apology, no refund, no acknowledgement from the league that fans were essentially sold a product that didn't exist. The WNBA simply moved on. That might fly once or twice, but long-term, it's going to erode trust. And if fans feel like they're being tricked into buying tickets just for Clark, only to watch her sit out while the league pretends everything's fine, they're going to walk away. But if ticket sales tell one side of the story, TV ratings tell the other. And let me tell you, it's even worse. When Clark is on the court, the WNBA is pulling in numbers we've never seen before. 3.2 million viewers for her matchup against the Chicago Sky, 2.7 million against the New York Liberty. Even regular season games on ESPN and ION were pulling 600 to 700,000. Those numbers felt like a breakthrough, the kind of ratings women's basketball had been chasing for decades. But then Clark got sidelined, and the numbers fell off a cliff. Games without her struggled to break 300,000 viewers. Some dipped even lower, back to levels the W was pulling before her arrival. And that's the brutal truth the league doesn't want to admit. The hype wasn't about women's basketball, it was about Caitlin Clark. Without her, the WNBA isn't just back to square one. It's worse, because now the spotlight is on and everyone can see just how fragile the league really is. Let's be honest here. The WNBA tried to spin this as league growth. They put out press releases about record viewership, sold-out arenas, and rising merchandise sales. And technically, those numbers were true. But the second Clark stepped off the court, the illusion disappeared. Suddenly, the same arenas that were packed a week earlier are only 70% full. The same TV networks that were hyping games are now burying them on secondary channels. And the same merchandise that was flying off shelves is collecting dust. This isn't league growth, it's exposure. Exposure of the fact that the WNBA is entirely dependent on one player to stay relevant. Now let's talk about why Clark is so different, because this isn't just about stats, it's about culture. Caitlin Clark isn't just a great basketball player, she's a star. She has charisma, she has style, she hits logo threes, she breaks records, she's relatable, she's likable, she's a story people want to follow. That's why she's more famous than 98% of NBA players. That's why she's already surpassed every single WNBA veteran in popularity, and that's why her games feel like an event. When Caitlin Clark plays, people care. The cameras zoom in. The commentators sound more excited. Fans show up in jerseys, signs, and t-shirts with her number. Even the haters can't look away. That's superstardom, and it's something the WNBA has never had before. This isn't the first time we've seen this. Remember when Lionel Messi joined Major League Soccer? Suddenly stadiums were packed, ticket prices exploded, and TV ratings spiked. But the moment he missed a game, fans demanded refunds. The difference? MLS made an effort to address it. Refunds, apologies, and clear communication. The WNBA? Silence. And that silence is telling. It shows the league still doesn't understand the business it's in. Because let's face it, the WNBA isn't selling basketball. It's selling Caitlin Clark. And that leads us to the biggest problem, superstar dependency. If your entire league's momentum can collapse because one player misses 2 weeks, you don't have a league. You have a one-woman show. And that's exactly what's happening right now. The WNBA doesn't have a growth problem, it has a dependency problem, and the longer they try to deny it, the worse it's going to get. Notice how the media is already shifting tone. At first, it was all about celebrating a new era for women's basketball, but now the headlines are desperate. They're pleading for Clark's return because they know the truth. Without her, there is no boom. Without her, there's nothing to sell. Let's recap the numbers. Clark led games 3.2 million, 2.7 million, and consistent 600 to 700,000. Non-Clark games 300 to 400,000. Attendance with Clark, sellouts, standing room only, ticket resales in the hundreds. Attendance without Clark, 70% capacity, worthless resale tickets, empty rows. The conclusion is obvious. Caitlin Clark isn't just valuable. She's essential. And that's where this gets interesting, because the WNBA is facing a moment of truth.